There are 3 amethyst mines near Thunder Bay, Ontario, and Sam and I visited all 3. Let's go get some of those beautiful red and purple crystals. Hey there, today we're at the Blue Points Amethyst Mine, and this is Jordan, who owns the place, and his wife Krisha is camera shy. She's hiding somewhere. So tell us about your place.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming to the Amethyst Mine here. What we have is a working quarry. We're chasing a vein east to west right now. We're currently about 400 feet long, about 60 feet wide, and the deepest parts are about 30 feet deep. We get a large variety of different beautiful colors of amethyst inclusions, coatings, of course traditional purple, and secondary minerals as well. But it's a neat thing here. What we have is we have a seam where the granite meets the mud rock. So here the mud rock is the source of iron, and the granite is the source of ionization. Of course the quartz comes up in between. You get the amethyst in any of them, but you need all 3 of them to form the amethyst. So the mudstone is the source of the trivalent iron, and then the potassium-40 in the granite causes the ionization, which allows the substitutions of iron through silica in the crystalline lattice of the quartz, and that results in the beautiful purple amethyst. Now, a lot of it starts out looking like this, though. It starts out real dirty, and that's because after the activity recedes, you end up with these pockets full of amethyst in the ground. And as the groundwater moves through, it brings with it sediment, which slowly deposits, and it often covers them in dirt, clay, mud, etc. So you'll find a lot of them looking off-colored at first, but you'll see the beautiful terminations. So that's how you know you have a really good one right there. This will be spectacular cleaned up. But you'll also often see them totally caked in a sticky peanut butter-like clay, like what you'd find down in Arkansas. And you know that's worth brushing too. Now after you scrub it with water, it starts looking a lot better, but a lot of it will still have iron on top. And that's because you need iron to make amethyst, so you're almost always going to have some level of oxides. Some of it will be quite heavy and obvious, some of it will be nearly invisible, but it won't shine to its full potential until you get that off. So then you need a rust remover. What we recommend is Iron Out. That's what we use. It does a fantastic job. We have full instructions on our website exactly how we clean it to explain what we do so you guys can understand our process. And it gives it that beautiful sparkle and twinkle after it's done being cleaned. But this is mainly sodium bicarbonate citric acid. So it's just, baking soda and citric for the most part. There's a small handful of other things in there. Yeah, that's how we get that nice shine and twinkle. And that's how the amethyst is formed here.
All right, Jordan's got us down here in the hole. What do you call it? The mine, the pit?
Yeah, the open pit or the quarry. This is the amethyst vein that we're working here.
So he's just going to walk us through and tell us a little bit about it. So yeah. I'll follow you.
So it's an east to west running vein here. And our property line starts right about where we were just standing. And it works down through. So here you can see some of the larger mud bugs that we've been working out. There's some large beautiful points in here as well. We're in the process of removing. You can see nice clusters with big tips. But a lot of ruby red and deep purple color from this area here.
So this red is unique to this area, right?
Yes and no. Most of the world's red amethyst comes from Thunder Bay. But there's also been red amethyst found in Brazil, in Africa, in Russia, in Poland, etc. Now, the reason we have so much of it here is because it's an abundance of iron oxides. They're trapped inside as inclusions in a phantom layer. So you have a full iron oxide phantom from the hematite that causes the red capping, and because Thunder Bay has so much of it, that's why we have so much red. So we have more red than anywhere else in the world. A lot of the world knows it as Thunder Bay amethyst, but the proper term would be hematoid amethyst, or red cap is a well-loved term used for it as well. But we definitely have the most of it, but it's not the only place you can get it. So the vein continues. It's about 400 feet right now, and all of this material will be coming out to go on the blast piles for everyone to enjoy. There's lots of fresh blasting that we've been doing. What you can see is just waiting in here to come out. We pull out material by hand on a daily basis, but we also get the excavator to pull out en masse a couple times a year. We're planning on getting that done soon. So this is one of last night's blasts through here. This whole bridge was split. A lot of it was blasted open, and it's all fresh and waiting, totally untouched. We had the one here and the two in the far end last night. You can see these wooden pegs are other holes I've drilled out for the blasting. So they stop debris and water from falling in. And when we're ready to do the next blast, we'll pull out the pegs, load in the explosives, wire them together, and set it off. And it's often better to do it successively because that way it's not all just sitting out, exposed and in the open. It's good to work it as you open it. Here is one of the large mud bugs I'm working right now. I had to fill the bottom with padding and wood before piling rock so I could actually crawl in and out. If you want to take a peek, it's quite the large bug, and there's been beautiful crystal clusters coming out of there with points, an average of 1 to 2 inches each crystal. And lots of nice red on deep purple coming out of that section. Now, all through here, if you take a peek, all of the walls are beautiful veins of amethyst, and it continues end to end, and there's parallel veins running north and south in line with them. But you can see there's an overwhelming abundance of amethyst in the Thunder Bay area, and this mine is no exception. There's lots here, just as there is in many other mines that used to run through this area. There's a whole bunch of private claims, but these days there's 3 public ones. There's the Panorama, there's the Diamond Willow, and there's us here at the Blue Point Amethyst Mine.
And where's the Diamond Willow?
The Diamond Willow is our neighbors right next door.
So right there where you see the excavator, that's actually the Diamond Willow mine.
Yeah, the excavator is currently parked at the property line there. And this here is what we call the East End Pit. This is the newest section of the mine. And this was another site of last night's blast. This whole face came down, as did the channel just over the hump here. But we get different material at all different spots in the mine. In fact, last year, right here in this stretch, in the beautiful white calcite that was growing in lovely rhombs, we ended up with beautiful double terminated and dipyramidal water clear quartz that is identical and indistinguishable from Herkimer diamonds. But we also get, black capped amethyst, white capped amethyst, red capped amethyst. We get natural citrine. We get the green praesiolite. We get smoky and all sorts of varieties. Pretty much every variety of quartz except for rose quartz comes out of here. We do get pink amethyst out of here, but it's the result of micro-oxidation layers on top of the purple that results in that nice pink color. So it's not a rose quartz. So here's an example of a vug that I'm working right now. It's nice and full of that sticky, heavy mud. So there's a variety of tools that we like to use. Of course, you need your trusty club hammer. 4 pound is what I recommend to anyone that comes to do some working. A hand sledge is fantastic. Another thing you need are chisels. If you're doing large scale work, or you're working blast, or you're working the hard rock directly, you want a lot of them. The best chisels you can get are homemade. They're spring steel. It's just car leaf springs that have been milled or ground, not to overheat, so it keeps its flexibility, but it's still strong and they won't snap. There's nothing better for hard rock working than spring steel feather wedges and pin feathers. Another thing you want is a good set of hooks. We just grab them at any hardware store. They're really incredible for getting in and around and helping you remove the clusters. There's all different shapes. There's ones that come off at a 90, they come back on a 30, they go, out on a 30. But they're incredible, indispensable tools. Of course, it also helps to have a bit of bars, but you have to be very cautious using anything metal in the vugs, because the second you hear a crunch or a grind or a scrape, you've damaged or destroyed your specimens. So that's why plastic trowels are so important. It's a lot harder to break the tips with plastic. It can still be done, so you still have to be careful. But what we do is we start and we gently go through and we remove fresh clay until we can feel new crystal clusters. Now here I can feel with my fingers under that sticky peanut butter that we have a cluster of amethyst underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start wiggling and see if I can get under And that one doesn't want to come out just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of my spring steel chisels, slide it in where the amethyst meets the rock, and start to gently try to persuade it. You can see it starting to come loose, and you want to move it a bit at a time. Now that it's loosened up, we're going to pull this out, grab one of our hooks, start to work underneath, and you always have to pull straight out because the points will often meet, and if you grind them, you're going to ruin your specimen. And there, coming off of the rock quite nicely, is a beautiful cluster of amethyst. It's hard to tell when they're covered in clay, but all of those are perfect, flawless points. And we can give that one a scrub when we get back down to show you guys what they look like as they come out. And then you continue that process. So you move out the debris, you very slowly and gently start to get out the fresh clay. When you feel it kind of have that xylophone effect, the da-da-da-da-da, you know that you're on points. And that's when you have to be really careful because you can still break your tips with the scoop. And that's when you want to start to get out your hooks. You want to follow the rock face in and under, and you want to see, does it want to move? Is it loose? Yes or no? You never want to go at it from the front because you're going to break. And here we can see on the wall, we have more nice crystal as well. There's a seam to get behind here. More clay. But now we're going to need more persuasion with the chisel. But you always want to very cautiously, carefully, slowly, and smoothly, you want to remove all of the material over top so you can see what you're doing. And I'll just very gently probe to see, okay, are we at the bottom? Are we going deeper? How far does it go? When we started working this pocket, it came up to here, and the pit could go all the way down in and still be touching clay. And that's how you know it's something really worth working, because the depth at which the tool is moving tells you that that mud vug goes down a good bit. And that's how we work these lovely cavities.
So what about this stuff on the face?
Yeah, that gets a little bit trickier. So this rock wall here is mud rock. A lot of people confuse it with shale. There is no shale here. The difference is shale is a variety of mud rock. It's like fingers and toes. All shale is a form of mud rock. Not all mud rock is shale. Shale has been compressed until it begins to remineralize, and that causes the crystals to form in flat layers. And that's why shales can be split. They can be split open into these nice thin sheets. Mud rock cannot. General mud rock is large. It's massive habit. It fractures easily, but it won't make these beautiful sheets that you see on shale. And when you look at the fractures in this, what we have is them going down and into the rock. So you have to be incredibly careful whenever you're working a face, because the rock below is often supporting the rock up top. And the last thing you want to do is take out a keystone and cause a collapse, because it might be the last thing you actually do. So you always have to have safety in mind first and foremost whenever you're working. So when you look at amethyst like this, there's some beautiful stuff. Some of it you can see is heavily fractured and will readily crumble off as soon as you start to get behind it. When you see plates that aren't fractured and have nice crystal on them, you might be able to get them out, you might not. It depends on if the rock wants to play nice. But here we have a thin layer of quartz that's supporting the amethyst on top of the mud rock. And if we're to try and take that off by putting the chisel in behind, it's likely all going to crumble. It won't come out nicely, a section like this. There are sections that do, but a lot of it is just trial and error until you learn what works and what doesn't. And you have to keep in mind when you're doing it that you don't want to destroy the specimens you're after.
All right, so now that we've seen the restricted area, thank you very much, what can the public access?
So everywhere else, everything that's not the quarry, anything that's not crossing the fence. So we have piles behind the quarry, we have piles that wrap around to the side, we have large piles all through the walking path here. The walking path makes a nice big loop, and there's piles all across the entire way. We put out fresh material all the time. I move out material by hand on a daily basis. There's always stuff to enjoy. But when we do blast in here, we do blast in one of three ways. We either blast for the shop, in which it all goes down to the shop, or we blast for the club, in which case it's left untouched, and that way when the club comes in, the clubs have fresh material to work. Or we blast for the piles, and if we blast for the piles, it's not cherry picked, it's not combed through. Last year when we had the excavator in, I did a whole bunch of blasting en masse. We fractured the rock, we left it untouched. No one saw it was inside, and well over 100,000 pounds of unseen material went out without anyone ever having seen it before or even knowing what it looks like. So that way, it's all fair. There's good stuff for us to sell at the shop. There's good stuff for the clubs to enjoy when they come in on their field trips. And there's good stuff for people to enjoy when they come in to dig the piles in the public. Because we want to make sure everyone has a good time. So we make sure there's good bits for everyone to find.
Yeah, that's amazing. I assumed that the scraps were put out for us lowly people.
Well, here at the Blue Point, we don't call it tailings piles because they're not tailings. We call them blast piles because they're blasted out and we put them out unseen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll give this one a scrub that we pulled out on video there. There's that nice little button, totally covered in clay. So we just start giving it a little brush, a couple of dunks. And that clay is always good and stubborn, but you can already see the color coming through. It's a good bit of work. Parents often joke that when the kids come in, they go home with the project because after they got to go clean them up.
That's what we do. We pick up rocks on the beach and then we've got tumbling them all winter or making stuff out of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cleaning up.
Yeah. You can already see the color shining through here. So that's going to be a nice rich purple with little red polka dots all over top. But it's not going to get much better yet because now what we have is a lot of iron oxide on top. And this is why we always recommend the iron out. Any rust remover will work, but we find iron out does the best job. I do feel I should say I am in no way sponsored by them. We have no sponsors. They're just what we think works the best. And that's how we do it because we've tried everything. But yeah, when you clean them up with water, you'll get a good look at the shape and a lot of the color, but it won't get off the rust. And that's when you need to give them a good soak. So we'll plop this one in the iron out and we'll see how it looks after.
How long does that take?
We often let them sit overnight.
Okay.
So usually about 8 to 12 hours. We try to do about 2 cycles a day. But if it's a real strong, real fresh batch, it can go a good bit quicker. So we'll put this in a bit and see how it looks when you guys come out.
All right. Well, we've been left on our own, and what'd you find, Sam?
Something different. It's probably stained a little bit, but there's other like weird crystals in there too with amethyst points or quartz points, I guess.
What are you finding over here, Sam?
Some big crystal chunks, nice points.
I found some rocks with a bunch of little crystals on a face. Nothing big like that.
These ones have like little inclusions. I don't know if you can see the specks.
That's a really cool one. Just dug up a nice little individual point. Sam found several of these. The first really nice one I've found. We have these tubs of water here to wash your stuff in. So Sam's scrubbing his up. Here's some of the stuff I picked up. It's got some good reds in it. Of course, we got to put these in acid when we get home and clean them up the rest of the way. Pretty cool stuff. This is laying here by the bucket. Take other people's scraps. I'll have to cut some of that off, but I thought that was a pretty nice display. Not very big crystals, but they're nice. Sam, do you have any noteworthy crystals to see?
That's all the big crystals.
Oh, you picked up a lot of those. Pretty cool. Oh, you got a lot of little stuff.
Yeah.
I was picking up more stuff for a display piece. Are these yours over here too?
Yeah.
Those are some nice ones. I wonder what this one is. Neat crystal shapes. Doesn't have the fun purple color. Just turned off the camera and Sam showed me that one, which I think is one of the best ones I've seen.
Down around the Fort K area.
I have a shop here. If you don't want to dig for your own, if you don't find what you want, you can pick some up here. Some really pretty pieces in here. They do look a lot better when they're cleaned up, don't they? So how to clean up?
Unfortunately, this one appears to have a secondary coating on top. The additional mineralization will not clean out. It's often either a coating of barite or a coating of secondary quartz or amethyst growth like a druze. But when you get that hardened mineral matter on top, unfortunately, that's not going to come off.
That's a bummer. So he gave me a different one that's not been cleaned up yet, so we'll soak that one in acid. And plus the ones we found, we'll soak those in acid. There's that muddy piece Jordan gave me, and in fact he gave me all of this, and he gave Sam a bunch of amethyst too, so thanks a lot for that, Jordan. I'm going to get this cleaned up better. And then it's going to go in the acid. So look at the difference between the purple down here and this stuff up here. So hopefully when I put it in the acid, all that rust will come off. I'm going to clean the rest of these up. I'll dump them in the acid and see how they look when they come out.
Rob, have you seen my toothbrush?
No, I don't know where that is. Haven't seen it. It's my little acid washing setup that I use once in a while. I've got one smaller bucket that fits in a bigger bucket and just drilled some holes in it so I can pick it up and drain the water out without sticking my hands down in the acid. So I'm just going to place my pieces down in here, and I'll fill the rest of that up and dunk it down in there, and I'll come back and, I don't know, this evening or maybe tomorrow morning. These have been soaking for almost 24 hours now. Decided to let them go overnight. So I need to get them rinsed off, scrub them a little bit, and see how they look. It's that one that was really muddy. And it doesn't even look like it needs to be scrubbed at this point. A little red in there. That's beautiful. Let's take one more. That one's already looking really good. Whoops. Now we should take a look at it after it's had a chance to dry. A couple little chip points there, but wow, is that sparkly? That's really cool. I wanted to show you this one that I didn't show you before. Thought that was a single point, but on closer inspection, it's got two little points, but it's just perfect. So cool. Well, Jordan, thank you very much. I appreciated you showing us around, and we're going to go visit some of your neighbors now.
Right, thank you so much for visiting today. It was a pleasure to have you guys.
Yeah, we had a ball. We're at our next stop. It's Amethyst Mine Panorama. So we're going to go inside and meet Tim, and he's going to show us around. Well, this is Tim, and in your last name, it's a...
Luckenuk.
Luckenuk. Okay, I thought I had that right when I looked at it, but I didn't know.
It's a little tricky. It's a Ukrainian name, so
it's a good name. I like it.
Oh, good. So welcome to Amethyst Mine Panorama.
Thank you. And you've been the owner here for quite a while?
Well, it's a family business. So my wife and I were a second-generation owner. My parents purchased the mine back in 1980.
Okay.
So I've been here on and off since I was a teenager, and Lori and I have operated it since my parents have passed.
You
on.
must really know your stuff.
Well, we know a little bit just about the mine. We mine here during the summer. We do a little bit of tourism where people come to visit and learn about Amethyst, go for tours. And then during the winter in the city of Thunder Bay, we have a store where I tumble and polish and cut amethyst all winter, and we make jewelry, our gift items and things like that.
Yeah, I was in the gift shop. You have some beautiful stuff in there.
We've been getting some amazing purple color lately.
Yeah.
We don't do everything. You might see some of those carvings inside, beautiful, beautiful pieces. They're done overseas with people that do jade carving.
Oh, okay.
So take a quick look, but it's definitely all amethyst from the mine. We don't import amethyst for other places or anything. It's just what we mine, we make, and then we retail here at the mine and then our store in Thunder Bay.
All right. So what do you have behind you there? That's pretty impressive.
It is. It's an awesome piece here. So we're all about amethyst here, and we're in the Canadian Shield. Actually, let's just go over. Maybe we'll start with this one a little bit. We're in the Canadian Shield. You'll see lots of this pink igneous granitic rock around. So about 1,000 million years ago, the granite here was faulting, cracking and breaking. It opened up 15, 16 meters, so say 60 feet wide or so. The granite fell in, and then hot water started coming up. And this is all related to mid-continental rifting, big geological event. Lake Superior is a mid-continental rift feature. Hot water started coming, and in the hot water, dissolved elements, they come up, and they start to cool, and they start to crystallize. So they grab onto the granite blocks. This is all quartz. Grabs onto the granite blocks and starts to crystallize outwards. Normally, we get a layer of white quartz right at the beginning. But over time, we get a little bit of iron in the mixture. It's iron that gets in these crystals and gives us our color. And in Thunder Bay, one of the unique things about the amethyst in this area, sometimes we get too much iron right at the very end of the crystallization. But that too much iron turns it to these reddish colors.
That's beautiful.
It's really neat. They can be bright and shiny. And if you look really close on some of them, you'll see that the iron is not as thick as what you perceive it to be. It's just little wee pinpricks of iron give it the reddish color. And then we also get at the mine here bigger features or bigger crystals. So you'll see lots of purple on the side. And here's hundreds and hundreds of these quartz crystals. A little bit too much iron, so they've gone to this, we call it phantom rose, that reddish color. But you can focus in on some of these crystals. I like to look at this one, for example. We can see the crystallization. They have one side, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all these crystals are based on 6. Sometimes these faces are remarkably smooth. Look how sharp and perfect the edges are. Come to a nice point. Sometimes they're bent and twisted a little bit. Sometimes they grow together. Sometimes we get big crystals. Other times we get small crystals. So it's all natural, hard to explain how it all happened. Lots and lots of variety in this piece here. But if you can look around, but one thing for sure, there is purple inside. So we can look down here a few places where the crystals have been chipped off. You can see the fantastic purple inside. And that layer of red that we're seeing is maybe just as thick as a fingernail. Just a thin coating, too much iron, mud, dirt, whatever it was, trapped in these crystals right at the end.
Beautiful.
We're still mining here at Panorama. This is a big piece that came out about 3 years ago. I just put the water on so we can see the color. So these are these great big crystals we're kind of known for here at the mine. You can see some of them are, just kind of gigantic, really. They're not really bright and shiny. The crystallization is not 100% complete, but they're certainly pretty interesting. And then on the sides here, you start to get a sense of the purple. So there's just amazing purple inside these. And that's almost, what is that, 1.5 feet, 2 feet thick? Great big amounts of crystallization. Some of these crystals, you might look at this one, it kind of started there to there, so that's maybe 8 inches long. But some of these crystals go almost right to the bottom. They might be 18 inches or even 24 inches. So natural process just happening over time. Great big crystals here. This came out of a big pocket, a big vug it's called. That vug was about 3 yards long. 3 yards long, a couple yards deep, a couple yards tall. And all these kind of crystals were in here, and you can just see the fantastic color.
It's beautiful.
So during the winter or during the mining process, lots of this stuff is broken and damaged, but we collect a lot of this purple, and that's the raw material that we make things. Tumble and polish, bigger ones we can make clocks and and bases and things out of.
So you take a piece like this and just put it in a big slab saw and just...
I don't have a big slab saw. Big ones like this that are pretty interesting and large, we try and leave.
Okay.
But during the mining process, there's lots of broken stuff, so we just collect the smaller pieces.
Yeah, it would be a shame to break this up,
Yeah,
but I was
exactly.
talking to your wife earlier and I got the impression that some of these were cut up. But
Sometimes it would be nice if we had a big saw. I don't have a big saw, just to take that slab off,
yeah,
get it out of the way, and then polish the face.
Oh, that'd be
there. That would
really
be
pretty.
Fantastic. And you can see the growth ring. So kind of like growth rings in a tree, where it started the crystallization down here, it was going there and upwards. But you can see for the first little while, it's kind of a milky green, and then a milky white, and purple, white, purple. So we're getting that chevron, but in here you can just tell masses, amounts of beautiful, beautiful purple. And in a few minutes we'll go down there, we'll look, you can see the granite down there, that's the pinkish red, veins of purple amethyst. We use water all the time, we're cleaning, there's mud, there's dirt everywhere, so we do the best we can. And like I say, we're still mining. The quarry is just the width we see here, so let's say 60 feet wide. There's no amethyst to the north, there's none to the south, it's just between these two walls.
do you have any idea how deep it goes?
Well, with diamond drilling, they've intersected the depth down to like 150 feet. The crack, the mineralization might go thousands of feet. The amethyst, I'm guessing, is probably just a near surface occurrence. I'm not really sure how deep we'll actually be able to get. It's just a matter, the deeper you get, costs go up, a little more difficult, a little more dangerous, things like that. But we're mining slow, careful. We should be here for, 20, 30 more years if everything's all right. Yeah, so this is what we call landscape stone. We get all kinds of different sizes of material out of the mine. This one you'll notice has lots of granite in it, or granitic. Sometimes it's quite bright and shiny and beautiful. Lots of quartz, pink stuff's feldspar, a little bit of shiny silver is the mica, it's not silver. But it's often covered with these veins of amethyst, and we get, it can be whitish quartz, it can be kind of a lavender, it can be purple. So we get these little crystals, they're kind of beautiful. They don't come off, if you're chipping and banging, it just breaks. If this was a smaller piece, I could put in my lapidary saw, I could cut that off, but we can't. So someone will end up buying this, they'll use it for a landscape stone, they'll put it in front of their house or apartment building, something like that. Yeah, so we call this the collapse zone. This rock here, it used to be granite, but you can see it's lost all its strength. It's just kind of basically turning into sand, so it falls apart. So lots of it here is loose and crumbly. So the amethyst in here is just the way you find it, just kind of broken pieces covered with this mud and clay, and beautiful, beautiful purple inside. We use these for tumbling and lapping and things, making things out of these crystals. Here's a nice one right here. Maybe this one we'll go and wash it. Again, It started there, you can see the crystallization. It's got a little bit of that reddish tinge there, still got the dirt on it.
I love that reddish color.
Wash it. Yeah, it's kind of unique for Thunder Bay.
It's like there's a nice plate of small ones right there.
Yeah, they're kind of all over once you start to look. Yeah, so we're going down into the quarry. This is where we're mining, just at the foot here. Watch your step, just be careful, it's still rocky and things like that. Here you get a good sense of how wide the quarry is, say 60, maybe 70 feet wide. There's no amethyst to the south, there's no amethyst to the north. It's just in between these two walls. And the quarry's not a vertical quarry. If you look down at the far end, you might see that blue barrel up there. There's a relatively smooth wall with white on it and black. That's sloping towards us at about 70 degrees. That's where the earth sheared off 1 billion years ago. So that's the geologists would call the footwall. And if we look over to here, you might see the other side of that. That's the hanging wall. So if you can imagine, 1 billion years ago, these two sides were together. They've just spread apart here. Granite fell in, the minerals came up.
So what is your method of mining here? Are you blasting? Are you just digging with a backhoe? Or
A little, all three. So sometimes, like up there, we dig a little bit with the backhoe. We have water hoses, big water hoses. We wash out that sandy mud. Some parts down here where we're going to go, it's the rock, the granite is kind of loose and crumbly, so we can pull it apart with pry bars and shovels, things like that. There's all kinds of mud everywhere, so we're always using water to wash out the mud and dirt. Some parts of the quarry, though, there is quite a bit of that pink granite. It can be really hard. We drill a few holes, a little bit of explosives just to kind of crack and break the granite, and then we get in there and tear it apart. That's why sometimes we end up with big chunks we call landscape stone. We're not turning everything into dust here, we're just cracking the rocks. So sometimes the rocks come out big, other times they come out, something like this, the size of someone's head or something. We call those garden stones. We sell those all the time. People use them for back decks and gardens. So mining methods change. What we're mining is changing. Sometimes it's garden stone, landscape stone. It's always exciting to get points. We haven't been getting a point as as you probably know, a single crystal. That's what we have here. Sometimes, some parts of the quarry we get many clusters where there are groups of them. And then other parts, it's tumbling. And we're going to look into tumbling where the crystals have all come together solidly. And when they mine, they get broken and they're like finger and thumb size. We're going to see lots of that. We call that tumbling material. We just pick that up, and that's what I tumble and polish during the winter. But lots and lots of it gets put in the bucket of the loader. We bring it up to the digging area. You'll go up there a few minutes later. You'll see purple everywhere, and it's literally the stuff we've mined here. A day later, it's up there. So kind of the people are really experiencing what we're mining at the same location here.
Nice.
That was the one we just found a minute ago. Yeah, so it's got a little bit of coating on it. You can see that's something a little brown. I don't know what that is, probably quartz. And this has got a little bit of whiteness in the quartz, but it's just really a nice purple inside. So that's a crystal. And then we had a couple other ones. Let's look at this one. Why don't you hold the hose? So we just spent a lot of time here going slow, kind of careful, washing off the mud. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that fantastic?
It is.
You can see it growing there, the chevron, and then you have the tip with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 sides. Little bit of that red, that Thunder Bay distinctive red you get in these crystals, but you can tell inside really nice purple.
And it's just everywhere, isn't it?
Why don't you grab that one? Yeah, and so when we're mining, well, look at the purple. It's just amazing here. So there's very few crystals here. There's the 6-sided pieces, but it's fantastic tumbling material. The quality, the color in there is very, very nice. So we make things out of that, pendants and earrings. And you'll just see it all over here. So we just collect it, literally put it in these pails, and that's what I'll be tumbling this winter. We just put it in the pail. So it's kind of old school. One like that, again, jewelry grade. That'll tumble up just fantastic. So this is, some of the quarry is loose and crumbly. We can pull it apart. And actually we can see the points right there, for example, and right there. So sometimes it's kind of loose. You'll see it's fractured. We can pry it apart. This material here, it's breccia, big chunks of solid granite, cemented together with the amethyst. Lots of veins, a vug there, a vug there, a vug there, a vug there, over here. That's pretty tough though. We're gonna have to use a little bit of explosives, drill into the granite just to break and shock it. We're not sure what's gonna come out of there. Often things like this come out as what we call either the landscape stone or the garden stones with this granite mixture. So the methods change, but over here where we were earlier, same kind of area, just a few feet away. This is a big vug. So it's about 3 yards long. It goes up there, comes down through here, and this is the bottom. So you can see the solid purple here. I'm not sure how thick this is, pretty tough, but on top of it, lots and lots of this purple. So we just collect this, put it in a bucket, and we get tumbling material. That's where we make jewelry and things. But over here it changes again. Here we're getting more granitic rock. So you can see the hard rock, granite. And there's been quite a few vugs in here. We've opened this whole area we mined last year for vugs. But look at the purple again.
Yeah.
And then we just put crystals there. Whatever we find, oh, there's that snake up there again.
Yeah.
We mine, just kind of sort as we go. And you'll see a couple vugs here. So a vug there. Maybe we'll go and zoom into that one, see what we can see. There's another one here. Sometimes granite, sometimes vugs. It changes all the time. And this is the outside of the wall. It's the south wall. Behind that, there's no more amethyst. It's most likely just granite. But you'll see bugs and veins all over down here. So this is kind of just a little typical little vug. I'll get rid of that hose. I think we've emptied this one out, but if you want to zoom, I'm just going to sit here. And I'm just going to go in here with I go with the shovel sometimes. And some of these crystals, yeah, some of the crystals are loose. So we can get them off the walls. We'll just see if that one comes loose. Yeah, not quite. Anyway, in here, bugs, there's dirt. Oh, one of the interesting things about the amethyst here in Thunder Bay, there's lots of this mud everywhere. That's why we use so much water. We're always washing out this heavy, thick clay.
But that's what allows it to grow, right?
It seems to be, yep.
Grows into the soft clay.
Yeah. And there's a few, yeah, so pieces. A lot of times we don't even clean these crystals off here. The clay actually protects them. But we'll just collect these, put them on the trays.
So what about like you want to collect that? Is that gonna?
That's not coming off.
Okay.
That's not. Yep.
That's a shame because it's.
Yeah. Actually, why don't you just get a zoom?
Oh yeah.
Can you get my hand in there?
Yeah.
I'm just doing a little bit of mining. Oh,
yeah, it's opening up there.
It's opening up in there. So you never know what's in there. Certainly, it feels like there's another nice little point. Probably just perfect.
Beautiful.
1,000 million years old. Never seen the light of day. Certainly no human has ever seen it before. Yeah, it's opening up. I can't feel in there. So we just go through this slowly. Hands and knees. Doing the best we can. Sometimes it's purple. We don't even know. That's another point.
So do you get many other minerals in here?
Generally no. Generally
okay.
Just the quartz. There's a little bit of others, mica occasionally, things like that. Yeah, so we've just emptied that out, and then we'll have to, I think we'll drill here. A little bit of powder, and that'll crack this.
Okay.
And then we'll have to go at it again. It'll be
right.
Shaped loose. But there's no way to get those points off.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine how you would, but no. I thought maybe you knew something I didn't.
No, I don't know anything. Other than just a little bit, you work behind it, you work underneath it, you work beside it. So that's pretty cool. Now we'll wash them off a little bit and see what we got. Yeah, some beautiful little crystals. See the six-sided, got the red. That's a little different shape. Multiple crystals, very cool.
Yeah, completely different specimens there, huh?
And they're really close to each other. This one's that red. You can see there's the remains of a large crystal and then several small crystals. And on this side, it's kind of just a whitish quartz and fades into red. There's a little opening there. We call that a pseudomorph. There was probably another mineral sitting there at one time, probably calcite, but it's dissolved and disappeared. And then if we roll this one over...
Oh, cool. I
see
did not expect that.
Yeah, it's just like a turtle shell. There was another big crystal there, and this layer didn't stick very well to that original crystal.
So those two different colors, would one be in one vug and another one in another place, or can they occur in the same one?
Well, probably, but they're they're in the same pail, so within a few yards of each other.
Okay.
I don't remember when specifically. But yeah, you can see some fantastic purple in there.
Yeah, it's such a deep purple.
Yeah. And then these ones, we've been getting quite a few red crystals.
I like the red ones just because they're different
than
most amethysts you see.
So we're in a large vug here. Lots of these large crystals. We saw them up top. 6 sides. Again, generally here, they're not bright and shiny, but inside them is purple.
A lot of purple.
That's a lot of purple. This one, you're asking about crumbling. This one looks like it's got many fingers, so it'll kind of fall apart. But the insides of these usually are just one crystal. It's just a solid chunk. I can slice it with my diamond saw to make pin sets and clocks, things like that. But even the broken stuff is fantastic for tumbling and making jewelry. And it's all over here. So the vug goes, you can kind of see the end of it there. And it comes behind me. It's about 3 or 4 meters long. And it's all full of this clay. We talked about the clay and mud. You can see it on the ground. And I'll just go in here, and some of the bugs some of the crystals are still in place. It gets dirty during the winter. The quarry floods here,
Oh, it does.
Yeah, so a lot of the dirtiness is just dirt from mud. But that's a crystal right there, from there to there. That's a 6-sided crystal.
All right, can you put a crowbar or pry
Yeah,
bar there and
that
just
would-
pop that whole thing right
I
off?
just left them here so we can, visitors and stuff, I can show them
Yeah,
what it was like.
right.
Yeah, and these ones are stuck on. You know, it wouldn't take much to pull them off. And great big masses, so I just brought it so you can see the, you know, it's not much to see the color. But fantastic purple all over. Yeah, crystal. Just goes like clay. Again, heavy, thick mud clay. It's all over in here. So that's made up of it's fault gouge. It's from when the faulting was happening. It's the feldspar and the granite breaking down. So again, that's where we use the water, wash it out. Get in here. Here's a point here. You can see crystals. We don't know. One up here. There it comes. A lot of these are not bright and shiny and beautiful, but I know there's beautiful purple inside. And so we mine pretty slow, pretty carefully, doing what we can. Get rid of the granite. The granite's a waste rock. It's not much use for anything. Build a road out of it. But crystals, mud, oh my goodness, eh? Yeah. And the mud protects them a lot of ways. It goes just all the way up in here. This was a big vug. I remember when we first came to it, like a couple of years back, it was this whole area.
Yeah.
We hadn't mined it where we're standing. Well, it's as tall as we are, right? 2 yards high, and it was just full of these big points and full of mud. Some of the big crystals up top we saw earlier. You can see this is the match of it, right? It's, you know, it's 18 inches across there. And there was another chunk over here, 18 inches. So this whole vug was just filled with these great big crystals.
So this is the public digging pile. So look at all the purple.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And smaller pieces.
Yep.
Ooh. Oh,
Oh my
the
goodness.
red stuff. Getting everybody wet. That's a keeper. Oh, you could fill many tumblers here. Spraying the camera. Stuff's just thick. This isn't even challenging.
No, it's too easy.
This is my point I just found over here.
Oh, you found one also. Let's zoom in on that one.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
This is the public digging area. Yeah, you hardly even need the brush. Oh, it's almost like rainbow in there. Is there a word for that?
It is. No, beautiful. You can see some blue in there too. See the blue shadings?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, very neat. Not really purple, but still pretty interesting. Quartz crystallization.
Lighter purple.
There's that
This
one. Isn't
piece
that
is just
interesting?
incredible.
What's going on there? I think that's a big point, right? A big point on the left or the right,
Yep.
smaller points. And then when you roll it over, you see that that was a capstone on another piece of quartz. So you can see the 6-sided interior there.
You know, toothbrush later for this one, but
Yeah, get in there. Pretty clean as it
yeah,
is.
it really doesn't need much cleaning.
And it's all quartz. So these are, again, we're back at the mine. A few years ago these came out, well over several mining seasons. Kind of in the same area, just below the $1 million truck. We were there a few minutes ago. A lot of the stones that are coming out, we have this cap on them. We call them snow caps. But you can see inside it's just fantastic purple. And some in the back, more of the reddish, that Phantom Rove color we get. Some's white quartz, some's red quartz, purple underneath for sure. And over on the left, these great big ones, we were in the vug there for a few minutes, where we saw those enormous crystals. So you can look down here, you know, that's like 2 feet of crystallization, mineralization. This single crystal here is a single crystal. It would have germinated, started down there. And it just grew and grew and grew. Typically, for whatever reason, at the top, the end of the crystallization, it's not bright, it's not smooth, but inside it's fantastic purple, and there's certainly big, dramatic crystals. Looks like the biggest crystals. We can go maybe take a look at these ones right here. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Just like a great big triceratops. Huge crystals. This one's interesting. Sometimes, you know, normally the crystals are quite to come to a sharp point. This one's a blade point, you can see, and that's because it was you know, squished between these two big crystals. We get that blade shape in there. But you can see, you know, massive amounts of crystallization on the sides there. Beautiful purple. Hardly any veins of white quartz. It's just purple, purple, purple.
So why are they hidden back here behind the quarry?
Well, I'm not quite sure what to do with them. You know, they should be sold, but I'm not sure who's going to buy them and where they should be displayed properly. They're pretty special.
They are.
And we were talking about getting something for slabbing. I know you do slabbing and cutting and things, so I thought we'd come and look at these ones. So again, that same big pocket we were in, we emptied most of it out, but these are the crystals that were coming loose from it.
Wow.
You can see
that looks really, really solid too.
Yeah, oh yeah, you could. That's, you know, we make the carvings and thing at the mine. They came out of these solid pieces. So if you're going to slice this or do whatever you want out of that, it's going to turn out just perfectly. Or even just cut a base on it so it just stands like that.
Right, right.
Nice little display stone. Just amazing. All natural, you know, 1,000 million years old. And then here's quite a large crystal I see. Oh my God.
Oh, gonna need a bigger saw.
Yeah, gonna need somebody a little more stronger to lift that one. But just fantastic. So what's that, you know, 18 inches tall?
Yeah,
probably.
That's probably, yeah, that's just amazing.
Yeah, and we know there's beautiful purple. Again, the tops, little, you know, they're not bright and shiny, but they're certainly dramatic, certainly interesting.
Tim was really generous and gave both Sam and I some really nice samples, including this one that he gave me specifically so I could cut it. It's one really big point. So let's see how purple that one is on the inside. Hopefully it fits in a saw. Oh yeah, no problem. Got a few slabs taken off that big crystal. They look really cool inside. What's even better is if you light them from behind. Isn't that fun? Looks like a purple tie-dye shirt or something. This next one's my favorite. Look at that. You can see that same hexagon shape in the inside there. A little bigger on the back, but it's really clear right there. Fun, fun, fun. Well, you saw the stuff we picked up with Tim, and now we're in the areas that are open to the general public, and we're just looking for tumbling material. And it's not a challenge. You just sort of bend down and you pick up everything you see. I mean, I'm going to be a little selective. Nice point right there.
Next to another one.
I'm looking for this stuff that's as pure as possible, but it doesn't even look fractured.
Nice piece.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's just everywhere. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be looking for. Just solid purple. But yeah, you can see we just got here, and we're just going to put in as much as we want in our buckets and be out of here. This isn't going to take long.
Yeah.
This is Panorama Peak, which the mine is named for. Way off in the distance, you can see Lake Superior. Well, Tim, thank you very much for the tour. This has been great.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. It's been fun.
Good. We look forward to seeing your video.
Okay.
And following you along on YouTube.
Me too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hey there, today I'm with Brandon, and the name of your mine is?
Diamond Willow Amethyst mine.
So you have diamond willow that grows around here?
Yes, we do.
That's some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's how they named the mine actually back in the 60s, 70s, whenever they gave it the name.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, good name. So we were at your neighbor's yesterday and here today, so you're going to give us a little tour?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, yeah, when people come here collecting, we have all this garden rock is all mined on site by my wife and I. And the girls help us wash it. We have lots outside there. People come here, we allow them to go collecting. They can go out in the piles. So we load our piles every single morning or evening, depending on the weather. And then we're actively drilling and blasting probably every 2 to 3 days, just so we can keep up with the piles and keep up with the product here. We're supplying our other gift shop, Amethyst Country, down by the Sleeping Giant, and we're also supplying like other gift shops throughout US and Canada. So
yeah, looks like you got a good supply here.
yeah, this is all like the outside stuff. It's not that it's not as nice as the inside, we just need more space, but there's like nice colors popping out here, especially after a rain.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Every piece is really unique, and like these pieces here are just fantastic. Yeah, so we call this the lower pit. So her father mined this over here, that was the main pit, so this is basically the lower main. So we use a lot of this for picking rock too, but if you want to come over here and just look at this vein right here, so part of the vein is exposed here, that's all nice small crystals. You can see some good color happening. You can see where the vugs happen within the quartz, which is really nice. And
so will this separate from down in here? Will that separate from the other rock, the host rock?
Sometimes not. Sometimes we'll get like a piece of the mudstone on either side with the vein running through the middle. I got some good pieces up there, and here's another vug. What I like about here is I call these lightning veins, so they kind of scatter right throughout here. If you look on the bottom here, all these veins run in all different directions.
Yeah, I think, is that where some of the pieces we saw up by the shop are from? Where you get it kind of
like look at
mixed in?
I just pulled out that piece from this little vug here, and then here's a little tiny one, which will be very nice.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is crack up the rock a bit and then get digging, and these little things open up into nice sized vugs, but
okay,
that's going to be a nice piece
to
go in the shop. You can see this here. Here's another vein, some smaller and larger crystals. The pit back here, and us and our staff will wash all this stuff up, and then it goes for a little treatment in the shack over here.
You wash it in acid?
Yeah, so this piece we just pulled out was right there, and that's what a piece looks like finished.
Quite a difference.
Yeah, so that's just dirty.
Yeah.
So even when you're out in the piles, you'll see pieces that are really dirty, and once you wash them up, they sure look nice. And we're getting lots of different kinds of things happening. Even this little piece I like because it's got the 2 different colors. Nice piece, just a little chunk there. So all this stuff here we're just working on cleaning up. It's all really nice stuff. Even got some citrine.
Oh, nice.
Just came out this morning from where I walked you earlier.
Working in the rain this morning?
Oh yeah, nothing stops me.
Slowed us down a little bit.
Yeah, the lightning was a little bit tricky, and yeah, even getting pieces like this are really fantastic.
Wow,
too.
that's just gorgeous. So Sam and I are off to the public digging piles. Sam's got his bucket. We're ready for action. Looks like that's Jordan's area over here. There's the Blue Points mine over there. That's where we were yesterday. And now we're on this side. So I haven't gotten in the piles yet. How's it looking, Sam?
Pretty good. On a pretty big piece. Pretty nice.
That is nice. Get that cleaned up. It looked great.
Yeah.
What do you have in the bucket?
A few little pieces.
Oh, that's just in 5 minutes?
Yeah. I've had some bigger crystals.
Oh, that's a nice one. Big rock, though.
Yep.
What do you think of this one?
Pretty nice.
Nice little washing stations here. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a keeper. Holy moly. Got a little bit of everything on it. Some of that red matrix rock, granite. Is that granite or is that mud rock?
Looks like granite, maybe.
You can't tell. There's a little more scrub, but that one might be a nice one. Sam, what's your best finds?
I found some very nice red ones here. This one's extremely red.
And I didn't find any red ones, so we're going back to look for a red one for me
One
before we
big
leave.
point, kind of reddish.
Look at all the speckles on it too.
Another little crystal. Little hematite inclusions in there. Those little black dots.
Yeah, those are neat. I got a couple big ones I really liked. I like this one. I like that a lot. And this one. I wanted one with the little, I don't know what you call them, little individual vugs, kind of. Well, Brandon, thank you very much. I appreciated the tour. This is a beautiful place here.
Anytime.
We had a good time. So
Well, that's good.
that's it for us. We're heading to Minnesota next, so we'll see you in the next video.